Everyone, and welcome to the City of Daly City regular meeting. Today is Tuesday, June 4th, 2024. To watch the live telecast, go to https youtube.com dalycity.gov or Comcast Channel 7 for local. For public participation, there are three ways to submit public comments. Email your comment directly to the Planning Division, or submit written comments via the city's website and attend the meeting in person. To submit a comment via the city's website, please visit www.dalycity.org/agendas to complete the public comment form. In the comment field box, include the item number or the title of the item as well as your comments. To speak at the meeting in person, please complete a speaker card located at the entrance to the council chambers and submit it to the staff member as early in the meeting as possible. Persons with disabilities who require auxiliary aids or services in attending or participating in this meeting should call the office of Michael Van Longhusen at 991-8158 as soon as possible. So now, I call the meeting to order, and then we do the pledge of the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, now roll call.
Paniza,
Here.
Fob, who is absent, Nuris,
Here.
Satori,
Present.
Katwar.
Present. So the May 7, 2024 meeting minutes is not available at this time. We now go to public hearing. Let's see. So when I call your name, you can turn on the microphone here in front. Nels DeLander.
I usually
No,
will give a presentation first.
Oh,
So if you want
okay.
to introduce the item.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, let's see. Okay. So, this one?
Yes,
Or-
item number 1.
Oh, here. Okay. So item number 1, General Plan Amendment GPA-05-24-16525, Plan Development Rezone PD-10-22-015-932, and Design Review DR-4-18-134 24. So this is 455 Hickey Boulevard to demolish an existing office building and parking structure and construct either a new 8-story commercial office or a 5-story medical office building and 3-story parking structure.
All right. Good evening, Honorable Chair and members of the Planning Commission. The item before you this evening are the planning entitlements to allow for the redevelopment of a new office building and parking structure at 455 Hickey Boulevard. The project site is in hash marks next to the green star there. The subject property is a 3.2-acre site consisting of 3 parcels located immediately southeast of the Gellert Boulevard and Hickey Boulevard intersection. The site is bounded by Hickey Boulevard, Sarah Vista Avenue, Sarah Lane, and Gellert Boulevard. Currently, there is a 65-foot tall, 5-story, 80,000 square foot office building with a 3-level, 293 space parking garage located at the project site. The existing building tenants include medical and commercial office uses. The surrounding uses include commercial uses to the north and west of the site, residential to the south, and Gellert Park, Library, and Fire Station are located west of Gellert Boulevard. Interstate 280 to the east of the project site. This slide is showing the existing land use designation and zoning. The land use designation is retail and office, which is shown in pink on the left, and commercial office, which is shown in orange. And then on the slide on the right, the zoning is light commercial, the pink color. The orange color is commercial office, and the green is a planned development zoning. The project site general plan land use designations are commercial retail and commercial office. The applicant is proposing a general plan amendment to change the portion of the commercial retail and office parcel to commercial office so that you have consistent land use designation for the entire site. The subject property project site is currently zoned light commercial office, and planned development. So the property would be rezoned to a new planned development zone allowing commercial office use. The planned development then would define the heights, setbacks, and density and design standards based on the proposed project. So the new zoning would be all the green area on the bottom diagram. At the May 2nd, 2023 public hearing, the Planning Commission reviewed and approved the preliminary plan, which was the concept of this proposal, which included approval of the overall site plan, traffic circulation, and design of the building for 2 project alternatives. At the May 22nd public hearing in last year, the City Council reviewed and approved the preliminary plan for both alternatives. So this is the proposed project. The applicant is seeking approval of planning entitlements that allow 2 alternatives. This idea is to keep it flexible in the office market. So they've come up with 2 proposals. Both, if this is approved, both would be approved, and then when it's time to build, it would be based on potential occupant of the building and what market conditions are. But alternative 1 would include an 8-story, 166-foot tall building, 280,000 square feet of commercial office building with 3 levels of parking. Or the second alternative would be a 5-story, 118-foot tall building with 180,000 square feet of medical office, also with a 3-level parking structure. Both scenarios would include 900 on-site parking spaces. This is just a list of all the entitlements that are required to be approved for this project to be constructed ultimately. And this next slide shows what the Planning Commission will be doing tonight. The Planning Commission will review the proposed general plan amendment, the rezone, and the design review for the proposed project alternatives. So with that, the Planning Commission can recommend approval, conditional approval, or recommendation of denial of the entitlements, and that recommendation would be forwarded to the City Council for their review. You'll also be reviewing the mitigated negative declaration that's proposed under CEQA. So there has been some community outreach on this project. The first community meeting took place on April 27th of 2023. The applicant hosted that meeting, and they gave an introduction to the project and gave the development details, design intent, and described the circulation. The major concern at that time was traffic control along Cerro Vista, so there was some discussion about that with the interested parties. The second community meeting took place on April 24th, 2024, so about a year later. it was a similar process where they described the project. At that meeting, the major concern was construction logistics. We have a aerial here just for reference. This is a site plan. We'll be covering a little more of this, and this is a site plan, which is an attachment in your staff report with various perspectives and pictures of the site. This is the proposed site plan. What this project is doing is actually, oh, my pointer isn't working, but what it's doing is it's pushing the new office building at the far northeast end to make it closer to the commercial corner of Hickey and Gellert to kind of shift it away from the residential uses. This is a rendering. So all the renderings we're showing you the tallest case scenario. So this is the 8th floor scenario rather than the 5-story. So you could kind of see its tallest iteration. This is a rendering looking at the office building and parking structure, looking northwest from Sarah Vista and Victoria. This is a rendering looking northeast from Sarah Vista and Gellert. And this is a rendering looking southeast from Hickey and Gellert. And a rendering looking northwest from Interstate 280. And you can see on the right side of the screen, that's an aerial view rendering, so you can see how it fits in with the landscape of Daly City. These are some proposed, these are the elevations for the south, north, and east sides of the building. This again is reflecting the 8-story scenario, so you can see it at its tallest proposed height. This is in relation to the color and materials. Obviously, this is a very contemporary style of building. It's going to utilize an exterior material combination of white, gray, and charcoal color metal panels for the upper floors and perforated metal panel exterior to camouflage the lower level parking garage. Staff is very satisfied with the design of this building and feels that we can make the findings that are required as in the design review chapter of the municipal code. And these might be a little hard to see, but site access and parking would be the same under both the commercial office and the medical office options. The project, under either option, would include 2 entry points for employees and visitors to access the podium parking and the parking structure. Access to the podium parking would be provided primarily from Hickey Boulevard with drop-off at an interior lobby. Access to the parking structure east of the office building would be provided primarily via a private driveway off Sarah Vista Avenue. And a curbside drop-off space would be provided on Sarah Vista Avenue. There's a landscape pathway which would link the lobby to the elevator stairway of the parking structure to the east. Delivery trucks traveling to the site would enter and exit via the Sarah Vista Avenue driveway to access the singular loading area east of the building within the service yard. There's a 20-foot wide utility easement driveway that would be constructed on the north side of the first parking level to provide the city access to the realigned underground sewer lines and storm drain that will be installed. This is just a matrix showing the proposed parking. Again, as I said, in both scenarios, they are proposing to construct 900 parking spaces. That meets the zoning standard. Again, this is a planned development, so they can establish their own parking standards based on demand, but in this case, they are proposing to meet the amount of parking that would have been required in the zoning ordinance anyway. And then, of course, to meet CalGreen standards, there will have to be a considerable amount of EV charging stations. So they're proposing a total of 450 EV spaces, 90 level 2, 90 level 1, and then 270 EV capable spaces. Transportation impacts include vehicle miles traveled analysis in accordance with CEQA. as well as local impacts measured in terms of vehicle delay and levels of service at intersections and transportation operations issues such as site access, impacts to active transportation modes, and vehicle traffic operations. The transportation consultant, TJKM, evaluated traffic conditions at 17 study intersections and 2 project driveways during the AM and PM peak hours on a typical weekday. The study intersections were selected based on input and approval from Daly City staff. The project is located in a travel analysis zone 1918 in the CCAG traffic model, which is tagged as a transit priority area under the CCAG geographical definitions. A TPA is defined as being within 1/2 mile of a transit stop in a high-quality corridor with a frequency of service interval of 15 minutes or less during the morning and afternoon peak commute periods. Since the project is located within a transit priority area, the project is screened out from the VMT analysis. So this meets Caltrans and CCAG's policy for determination of a less than significant traffic impact. In regards to pedestrian, bicycle, and transit impacts, the project will connect to existing pedestrian facilities and will provide on-site circulation through a variety of continuous paths and crosswalks. The project is not expected to create any disruptions or inconsistencies with existing pedestrian facilities. The project will add trips to existing transit services, but this can be accommodated by Samtrans. Therefore, the project is estimated to have less than a significant impact to pedestrian, bicycle, and transit facilities. The study did recommend a variety of pedestrian safety and vehicle traffic circulation improvements, some of which will be required by the city. So also, what's sort of detailed on this slide here is this project is located in the transit priority area and defined as a large non-residential project. So the target trip reduction is 25% based on CCAG's transit demand policy. The TDM policy identifies 9 measures which are required of all projects, and these required measures would equal about a 25% trip reduction. So those are enumerated on this slide here, and they're also listed in your staff report, but they include things like preferential parking for carpools, transit passes for the employees, showers and lockers and changing rooms for bicyclists, and a variety of other items. Based on the traffic impact study and travel demand management plan as required for the project, city staff developed a transportation improvement conditions of approval for the project. The conditions for the project include pedestrian and traffic improvements for the surrounding streets adjacent to the proposed project, including street vehicle striping, pedestrian flashing beacons, corner bulb outs, ADA curb ramp upgrades, and coordination with public transit to improve bus stops fronting the project site. A shadow study was conducted for the proposed building to assess the potential impacts on the existing streets and residential properties. The study included both development scenarios, so the 8-story and the 5-story. The shadow study was conducted using a combination of satellite images, digital mapping tools, and 3D modeling and simulation software. Data was collected for different times of the day, including 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. during the spring equinox, summer solstice, fall equinox, and winter solstice to capture variations in shadow patterns throughout the year. The shadow study concludes that there's minimal impact over existing residential neighborhoods. Only a portion of public right-of-way and adjacent commercial uses would be shaded for part of the day. This is just for reference. This is a sample sheet of some of the landscaping that could be provided at the site. And then this is kind of small, but this also shows a planning plan. There's quite a few opportunities for on-site landscaping. And also with the outdoor plaza area, there is opportunities for hardscape So this is just a sample of what some of that could look like. Oops. The City of Daly City completed environmental review for the proposed project as required and determined that the project would have a less than significant impact on the environment with implementation of avoidance and mitigation measures. The city will provide responses to public comments and include them in a final mitigated negative declaration document presented to the City Council for determination. So we're in the public review period, which will close June 20th. We are expecting this project would go to council at their July 22nd meeting. The California Environmental Quality Act requires a lead agency to adopt a mitigation monitoring and reporting program whenever it approves a project for which measures have been required to mitigate or avoid significant effects on the environment. The purpose of the monitoring and reporting program is to ensure compliance with the mitigation measures during project implementation. So the initial study identified some potential impacts in a variety of categories: air quality, biological resources, cultural resources, geology and soils, and noise and vibration. But the mitigations would bring that level of significance to less than significant. So those have been incorporated in a mitigation monitoring and reporting program. So with that, staff is recommending that the Planning Commission make a recommendation to the City Council to approve the general plan amendment, the plan development rezone, design review, and then certification of the mitigated neg deck and mitigation monitoring and report. So that concludes my presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions, but we have a full array of experts here, both on the applicant's development team and also from our environmental consultant, David J. Powers and Associates. So with that, I'm available for any questions.
Thank you. So is there any?
I have just one question, and I'll have probably others, but I noticed in the Department of Economic and Community Development, the design review permit application, you're recommending me for a period of 1 year as opposed to a longer period. And what is the reason for that? That I found on page 11.
Oh, yeah, let me find that, because I think we were recommending 5 years, I thought.
4, I think it said, perhaps.
Oh, okay.
But that was requested, perhaps.
Yeah, so I believe the applicant actually requested 10 years. 10 years. And I thought we were going to write a recommendation of 5 years and then have it come revisit with the Planning Commission and City Council. The reason being, what we're finding in general is the standard municipal code, the ordinance for design review specifies a 1-year approval period. We're finding that that's just very tight, especially on a project of this size. But we do want to make sure that designs stay contemporary and that they're the best they can be. So we understand the need for an extended design review period. So we're sort of hitting the middle with 5 years. But the applicant is asking for 10, and so you're more than welcome to state your case on that, and we can definitely take the Planning Commission recommendation to the City Council.
So what was the recommendation of staff then? 5?
I thought it was 5, but wait, because when I look at page 11, I'm seeing it says 1, but I know I've had a conversation about this, and it was supposed to be on our side 5, but I know the recommendation or the request
when I
was 10.
saw 1, I think
Yeah.
that's probably very difficult.
And then I think what we wanted to do was incorporate it into the plan development standards, actually. So not so much a condition of approval, but to make it built into the zoning for the site. So let me look at that. Okay. So if you look at the plan development standards, which would effectively act as the zoning for the property, so this is one of your attachments, we are saying a design review approval of 5 years.
What page is that on?
Oh, I don't know the page. It's not numbered in my staff report, but it's the plan development standards are attachment D.
Okay, that's good enough. Thank you.
Okay,
I'll take you at
sorry.
your word.
I can show you right
Oh,
here.
it's okay.
But it's in the plan development standards. So this is what would be adopted as the ordinance. So this would be what the planners would be looking to when reviewing this project. So we can definitely fix the condition of approval as it's written in the staff report. We'll clean that up. But the intent was to give 5 years, but again, the applicant's asking for 10, and we're just gonna have the floor to kind of explain what that request is for.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Let me have one more
Comments?
question.
Of course.
Thank you. So if we go with the 6-story building, will that, the 8-story building, will that then be the tallest building in Daly City at this point, or are there any that are taller?
Well, so I believe DC Station's about 8 stories. We do have other projects that are entitled that are taller. So Ceremony Views condos, which are on the south side of Ceremony Boulevard across the shopping center next to the McDonald's, those were allowed to be up to 14 stories tall.
Right.
And then when we process the school district's housing proposal, there are potential heights of up to 14 feet. So this is definitely in keeping with the trend towards development. We're seeing taller
My
buildings.
concern was, I didn't see anything from the fire department. There wasn't any comment really. And is the fire department equipped with equipment to go up that high at this point?
So they were very integral in the review, so they are well aware of this project and they participated in the review of it. And so there are special requirements for high-rise, and there was no concern that they would not be able to meet those requirements.
Great, thank you.
Any other comments, discussions?
Your Honor, can I ask,
Yes.
can the applicant yield to some few questions? Is he willing? Thank you.
Hi, I'm Tom Gilman, partner with DES Architects and Engineers.
You are Mr. Charles King?
Pardon?
You are Mr. Charles King, I understand? No.
Gilman.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I understand that you are going to put up a building, demolish the current building, and put up a new building, this 3.2 acres, right?
Yes.
Okay. My point is, we always think that the plans are for the best interests of the public health, safety, and general welfare of the city. To me, I'm looking at the plan at the same time looking at the drawings here, which to me is really a very excellent one. If this can be done, really, how many years do you think this can be done?
Well, I think it's going to have to do with market conditions, and certainly when the owner says, "Okay, we're ready to go," I think right now, the issue on wanting a little, as was indicated, a little longer time for the design review was because market conditions. I think it's difficult for an owner to put up a speculative building without some indication of a tenant. And so once, right now that we're just seeing that in the marketplace in general, that typically developers are waiting until they see enough tenant interest, and then they might decide to go. And again, I think was indicated earlier, we're looking at both the ability to be able for the building to accommodate either a tech office use or a medical office use. So that just broadens the opportunity for a tenant to come along and be interested in the building. But once it gets started, once construction starts, we're probably talking in the neighborhood of 2 years or so, construction period.
Thank you. Well, how many floors do you intend to put up in that area?
How many?
Floors? The height. What
So-
will be the height?
Well, so if it's
What is your
the tech
proposal?
office, it's 8 stories.
Now, how many floors do you intend to put up in that?
Oh, the whole thing, all at one time. The construction?
No, how many floors do you intend to build in that space? How many? The height. Is it 10 floors, 50 floors, or 100 floors?
8 floors.
8 floors.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, that place, to me, I'm not, that is a very, I would say, a very iconic place because it faces the north San Francisco and faces south in San Mateo. It's beautiful, actually, to me. So, if it can be done really in a very passion way, to me, in a fast way, or if you can fast track the development. So
Well, you know,
I have no interest in your business, although I might be nearby, but I have already settled this with my lawyer, so no problem about this.
you know, that one of
I have
the,
no business. I have nothing with you. I don't even know you from Adam. So
I was going to say that, you know, as we develop and master plan a site like this, you know, typically the owner will have a target in mind in terms of square footage that they're interested in building, but then it's often the being able to meet the required parking also on site, you know, is another limitation. So you can only go so much in terms of building, but you need to have the parking that goes along with it as well. So.
because in all the projects here in Daly City, I enormously support infrastructure development because this is the only way we can grow. We can be. Look at South City; it's booming.
Yeah.
San Francisco is booming. Daly City is the only thing that I would say not that very lucrative. But to me, if this iconic place will be done in such a way that it can develop in a rapid way, then Daly City will be in good hands.
Well, I know our client has owned this property for many years. I don't know,
2015.
since 2015. And they have the existing building there that we'll demo. And I know that they've been very excited and very interested in the redevelopment of this parcel because of that location, and its high visibility.
That's why I am just asking this, when is your timeline or based on your, we call it PERT CPM, planning, evaluation, review technique, and your critical path method. That's why I'm asking this as,
And from our perspective, as soon as possible.
anyway, those are my concern. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Your Honor.
Question?
I'm just wondering, are there going to be any other presentations? Is anyone else going to speak, or are you just here to answer questions?
There's no presentation prepared by the development team.
All right.
So they are here, though they can answer all sorts of questions on the details.
Okay, then a couple that I have.
Okay.
Relative to kind of following up on what my colleague has talked about, in order to do something like this, obviously, you own the building, so you have the building, so that's already there. There's tenants that are currently in it, and then there's the issue of if you're going to go and build, it's full of tenants, they have to move out in order to have this come down. That's part of the process. Financing a project like this requires putting financing in place. Do you have financing lined up as far as that goes to do this job, or is that something down the line?
Hello, I'm Sam Hawks. I represent King Asset Management, work for the owners. I work at King Asset Management. And basically how that works, which Tom was alluding to, is that we really need a tenant to step up. And then once you have a tenant that steps up, the banks will loan you the money just like that.
much more difficult just to go out without a tenant and start building, and it's we I could almost say we wouldn't do that, but we've actually been talking to tenants, and everyone asks, well, when can you deliver it? And you go, well, we're not ready yet. We need the entitlements first. So really, this is kind of step one. We've introduced it, and we've shown this presentation to quite a few groups, and it once we can say we can deliver it, then it kind of moves forward. But they're all interested. Or, we have a few people that say they're interested, both. And so it's really getting through this process that we can then, give them positive, good news is good news for everybody.
Yeah, because that was my second question. Obviously, a lender is going to want to see that it's pre-leased or at least have commitments from tenants so that there will be a cash flow to pay for this thing.
That's right.
And to build it and then take out financing after that. So that was my next question. Do you have potential tenants lined up yet, or are you in that process of working on it?
It's really just kind of discussions and showing them, these type of presentations. And basically the question they ask is, when can you deliver? And we're like, well, we can't yet. Basically, because we don't, when entitlement basically says, hey, we're allowed to do this. And then, and really that's when you start to move forward and they can be more serious because they can't move forward. Most of the tenant is never going to take on a risk without the entitlement, once we have the permission, then they're like, okay, you can deliver and we can start to, get more solid answers.
Yeah, and it seems to me like this is the kind of project which would serve really Daly City's purpose as far as that goes. It looks like it's a great project. My questions were really aimed at what would be the reality of getting it going. Assuming the entitlements are going to be there, let's just assume that's going to be there, then the next step is probably just as hard. But if you're feeling comfortable that there will be tenants, and if there's tenants, then there will be money, then this becomes a reality rather than just us talking about it,
Exactly.
I was trying to see if we're on the same page here.
Well, I tell you, we're 100% want to build this. We're full speed ahead. We own it, and basically we bought it with the idea that, the existing building is aged, and it doesn't look that bad. I mean, I think it looks fine, the views, but on the inside, it's aged, and those panels are, it's we'd much rather have a nice new building, and believe me, we want to build it.
Thank you, appreciate that.
Yeah.
Can I make a follow up on that, Madam
Go ahead.
Chairman? Well, it looks like you are still window dressing, so to speak, because you know the meaning of window dressing.
Window
business acumen. Okay, because you are not just so sure about this project. Because if I'm going to make a quantification of that place, just to demolish that building, it can cost you millions already. You know that, right?
Oh, of course.
So you are not yet sure of this project. You mean to say that is what you're alluding to?
Well, no, I would say the opposite, because we've been working on this for years. We're extremely interested in it. We didn't make all these drawings and hire Tom for fun. No, we did it because we want to build this. We really do. We actually built the building, the Kaiser.
Sorry if I'm going to be direct here because I'm happy to be a businessman. I know how it goes.
Yeah.
So,
but we did the Kaiser building at 395 Hickey in like 2001, and we think that's been a great addition to the city.
that's a good indicator. That
Yeah,
you're
and
able
so
to
we
be-
did that, and we want to do it again.
Good.
Yeah.
We are actually. I said a while ago that I am for this kind of infrastructure because it will help elevate the image of the city. Fronting, it's beautiful. Fronting San Francisco, fronting the airport, and then you put up a restaurant there or an office. Well, it's beautiful.
Right.
That's just. I'm thinking aloud.
Yeah, no, I agree. The views up there, I mean, I can't even imagine what they're going to be, because it'll be beautiful, looking over the bay. And
In fact, during the first hearing here of this, I said, why don't you make it 20 floors than 10 floors? Yeah, honestly, I said that. Remember? Because the space is top dollar location. Down is you have the 280, and then you have Highway 1. And it's beautiful, actually.
Absolutely.
And certainly, Tom alluded, the parking kind of, I mean, the only way to build it bigger is to build the parking bigger, and we're trying to keep it there so that it's not looking over the neighbor's fences, and it seems to be a right balance, you know, basically we have the two uses, and if we had a tenant that wanted it taller and you guys wanted it taller, we'd work hard to figure out how to do that, if, you know.
Because the interoperability of the transportation there is very efficient. It will come out that way because you have 280, 5 at 35, and then 101, and then you have the Siramonte, and then going San Francisco, going south. It's beautiful, actually. I'm trying to encourage the city to really to build more of this kind, whether it is in the north and the south, wherever you are.
We're on
Daly
it.
City is a very small place wherein we really have to develop it. It's about time.
Yeah.
That's why I think I said it before here. It is those conservative, the so-called traditionalists, who are opposed to this kind of development when it comes to height. That's why I said, where else can we go? See, the city of Daly City is not that big, not that compared to other cities like South City. They have a lot of land use. But in Daly City, nothing else except the schools. That's it. Thank you very much, Madam Chairman.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You know, so I have a comment. I actually, I've been going to work there for until the agency moved, right? Because of this proposal. But what I wanted to say was, so now there's a proposal of 900 plus parking spaces. Right now, it's much less, but I feel like it's been empty, like during Mondays to Fridays, and especially weekends. So I wonder, comparing it to like the Hickey building, the Kaiser building, that's pretty full. But I wonder if this is going to be like a medical office type of building. That parking structure is pretty much going to be empty during the weekends. Would you allow it to be like public parking during weekends
Now,
for a fee or something?
you know, certainly, like, we could look at that, but really, we would kind of look to our tenant to,
Right.
you know, because they're paying the bills to see what they thought. You know, if you had a YouTube tenant, you know, or Google as a tenant, I'm not sure that they might like that, not sure.
Yeah.
But we kind of defer to the tenant
True.
on a
Yeah.
question like that.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Thank you.
So it's,
Who's the public?
You can open the.
Have your card?
okay, so right now we're gonna open it for public comments. I have Speaker Nels Delander. Please come up.
So the normal clock has been removed, so we're going to have to use our phones to set the clock. Are you going to use the?
Madam Chairman,
I'll be fast.
in as much as
I'll be real
before
fast.
When I throw this pen at you, you're done.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm-
whatever the will of the
Madam,
commission.
point of clarification. In as much as we don't have much, I would say, public speaker, I would like to move to amend our minutes of public participate to 3 minutes. 3 minutes. I so move that we have to change the rules because a lot of them are using 2 minutes, right? But to us, we have only a few people coming here. That's why. So I would like to amend the. I think this is the city council ruling that we should have at least 3 minutes instead of 2 minutes. Imagine. My reason is this: these people are coming here to speak for 2 minutes, which is to me, that's why I don't speak in the city council. 2 minutes is nothing. You cannot explain everything. So I so move that we amend that ruling based on Robert rules. 2 minutes. We should make it 3 minutes.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
And this is the point of order. First of all, it's not agendized. It's not something that we can make a motion on because it's not on the agenda, and you have to have it.
You don't have to have an agenda if Your Honor, if there is a motion here to give the privilege.
Through the chair.
Well,
If
why
Yeah.
don't we just say that, if the chair wishes to grant 3 minutes, that's fine with me. I don't mind. Does anyone
Yeah.
else?
Through-
For
through-
today's meeting?
Through the chair.
Yes,
The
go ahead.
chair, the chair can always grant additional time, and what we recommend usually is that it's based on the meeting itself, and in this case,
Good point,
if you
though.
would like to have this extended for 3 minutes tonight, that's fine, but going forward, we would still be a meeting-by-meeting basis, and it's ultimately the chair's decision how long public comment is.
I am
Thank you.
stating it as a fact because we have, the ruling is always, the Robert rules here is always something, 2 minutes, 2 minutes. But to me, let us adopt it as planning commission, not based on the Robert rules of the city council. That is my proposition, Your Honor. If somebody will say yes, then we can go on. But I know you're right, Madam Chair, Madam Council, that
For tonight, I
the-
think we
the-
can do
the-
3 minutes if the
it's the
chair is
prerogative
willing.
of the chairman or the presiding officer to just to be lenient about it. Could be 4 minutes.
Yeah.
But to me, there should be no capitation of 2 minutes because look at this. There are only few people who wants to talk and give them the privilege because coming here is really too much.
I think you
That's-
probably would have been done by the time we're talking about it. I agree with you for tonight, as far as
No,
that goes.
not only for tonight, but the succeeding meeting.
Well, I think it
I'm
is-
so moved, Your Honor, that we adopt that 3 minutes instead of 2 minutes.
I second. I agree with that idea, Ray Satori.
Thank you.
So we have a motion, right? Or do we?
Again, I don't believe we need to make a motion. I think you, as the chair, you can say that you're going to
You
make.
have the
Good, yeah, you can do it.
plenary
Yes.
powers
No
to do it.
motion.
Absolutely.
You have
Yes.
to do it. But I'm saying it because sometimes you forget it, then we make it 2 minutes again. But to me, that's the power of the presiding officer is if you want to be lenient, it's up to you. But that's why I'm proposing it to be part of the ruling.
Noted.
Thank you.
So unlimited for you tonight. You're
Okay,
our only
yeah.
speaker. I thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners, Chair, and City staff. My name is Nels Delander. I'm a field representative for Carver's Local 217 of San Mateo County. The project at 455 Hickey Boulevard has a potential to change lives for those who live in this community. It also has potential to provide many good jobs for your local carpenters. These jobs would give men and women a way to take care of their families, not only by livable wages, health care, at that local hire and apprenticeship. You will have a project Daly City would be happy to hang their hat on. By utilizing apprentices that go through straight accredited apprenticeship programs, you're getting workers that are trained to do the tasks that are to be performed, being on budget and on time, making the project professionally done and safe. I personally think this is a great project and would like to appreciate I would appreciate our local labor to be included. Thank you for your time.
We don't have any more speaker cards, so, right now, so do we?
Can make a motion to
Yeah,
close the
I'm-
public hearing.
I would move that we adopt the recommendation of staff, adopt the findings as outlined therein, affirm the environmental assessment, and approve the general plan amendment as initially stated.
So do I have a second?
No, one at a time. Close first the public hearing, motion, and then adopt the findings of one at a time. Please, Madam Chairman.
All right, so we now close the public hearing and now move forward to the recommendation for
Yeah.
the general plan amendment.
Through the chair, we do have a motion from Commissioner Norris to adopt the findings herein. Typically, we require a second for that, and then we have a vote.
So we have-
Yes,
okay,
so
so we
that's how
have a
the planning
motion,
commission has worked. So we need a second for
Follow
the
this.
adopting the findings.
So do we have a second?
I second.
And then you vote?
Roll call vote?
Not a roll.
No,
call,
not a
just
roll call
voice.
vote.
All those in favor?
All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Against? Nothing. Okay.
Any? So that,
Number 3 is adopt the findings. Yeah, it's here.
So has the motion carried?
yes.
For the adopted findings?
Yes. So the motion is carried. We're adopting the findings.
Now we need a motion for
I so move.
the environmental assessment. Thank you, Satori.
Where?
What is the motion now?
To
It's right
affirm the
here, right?
environmental assessment.
No, she's lost.
She has the same thing. Number 5.
Okay. So, affirm the environmental assessment,
Yes.
number 5, right?
Yeah.
We have a motion on the floor. We need a second.
Second.
Thank you.
Is there,
It's a voice vote.
All those in favor?
Aye.
all those in favor for number 5?
Aye.
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 Number 6, approval of the general plan as designated. I would move approval.
Okay.
Do I have a second?
No, you have to read it first.
Okay, so number 6 is approval for the general plan amendment, GPA-45-24 16525, plan development rezoning, PD-10-2205
015.
015932, and design review, DR-4-8
18.
18. Oh my gosh, what's happening with my eyesight? 13424, subject to the conditions of approval outlined herein. So do we have a motion?
No, roll call.
We actually have a motion. Didn't you make a motion?
Yeah.
Well, I made a motion, but it hadn't been properly stated yet, so
Okay, so
there
can
is
we have-
no motion.
Second
right
the
now.
motion. Roll
Well,
call.
there's no
Roll
motion.
call.
I don't
Can we
have a
have a,
motion.
can we
So
have a
do we have a
motion?
motion for item
There's
6?
no motion.
Can we have a
Second.
motion?
I so move.
Okay,
You
thank
moved
you.
it. Will someone second it?
Yeah, I second.
Okay.
Roll call.
This one's a roll call.
Roll call vote for this one, yes.
Okay, Panizza,
Yes.
Norris,
Aye.
Satori,
Non-voting.
thank you. Qatar,
Yes.
thank you. You say no.
Okay, yeah, so the next steps for this is staff will be setting time and place to the city council for them to set a public hearing. We anticipate the public hearing would be set for July 22nd. And so notices will go out to the same members of the community that received the first notice for that public hearing.
Reports.
Any commissioner report?
You report. Where did you attend the meeting?
Oh, Tom, we attended that meeting. So that was great. We met other commissioners from other jurisdictions. Tom, do you have any?
It's very interesting. A lot of people were there. There was presentations on what they're doing with different areas in their cities to develop public places where people can gather, and that then stimulates those neighborhoods, brings in businesses, and develops growth. And Redwood City was highlighted as one of the examples there, which was great. It And so it was very interesting, and they had a nice dinner for us. And so I recommend when the next one comes around in October, we attend as well.
What's next?
Also, so the Planning Commissioners Academy meeting will be September. That's good. I think you better attend that. It's one of the best highlights of the Planning Commissioners
And that's
Academy.
usually in the south.
I don't know the
SoCal?
place. Could be
Ray, are you
south,
talking
north.
about the Cal City planner commissioner training?
Which one?
The Cal City League.
Oh,
Yes.
Oh, I think it's. I looked it up. It was in March 5 to 7 in Santa Rosa.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
next March?
Yeah.
Oh.
2025. Yeah. Wednesday to Friday.
well, that's pretty near, pretty
Yeah.
close by.
2025.
Yeah, March. Yeah. The Cal Cities. Yeah. League.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah. I know it's early, but yeah.
Well, we better pack our bags.
That's the yearly one. Yeah.
That would be interesting. Has anyone attended that before?
Yeah. The one in Anaheim. It's pretty.
Was pretty interesting.
Yeah. All,
Have attended
planning
that
commissioners all
several
California.
times. So I don't.
Oh, I'll look into it, but I think the one that you may have attended was League of California.
Yeah. League have. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
That one's usually in the spring, but we can look at the Cal Cities one as well. You
Yeah.
know, we have a limited budget, so we can usually send a few of the commissioners will give you a small budget for how much you can spend to attend. But it would be one or the other. We wouldn't be able to send you to both, but we can look at, we'll look into, Commissioner Panizza, we'll look at the Cal Cities one, and
Where is that?
that's the one Mr.
Yes.
Panizza was talking
Santa
about. And I
Rosa.
think normally we've done the League of California Cities, but I
Yeah.
think this is probably a reputable one as well,
Yeah.
so we can look at that.
Yeah. Thank you, Tatum. Yeah.
And Santa Rosa is closer, so we can save a
Yeah.
little money on travel expenses.
All right, do we have?
I would like to say something. Last Sunday, there was a Taste of the Bay, which is a car show sponsored by the Colma Daly City Chamber of Commerce. It was really very laudable because it inspired the young people of the Bay. A lot of people came in at the Serramonte and watching all those car show. It is inspirational and very people really. If you want to have a good car, you have to really to work hard, and that's an inspiration for them. And to me, it was a good project by the Colma Daly City Chamber of Commerce last Sunday, at in front of Lexus, Serramonte Boulevard. There were a lot of, could be more than 10,000 people who attended that
Oh,
show.
wow.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairman.
All right, so do we have a
Motion to adjourn.
motion to adjourn the meeting tonight?
I so move.
I
Adjourn
second.
Until the next.
Thank you.
Aye, aye, aye.
Aye, aye.
Aye.